Let's see if we're on here. Hello, everybody. If anybody can hear me here, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Harry & Co Productions. And today, we're gonna be doing some more. I'm gonna be doing my mock draft 1.1. I hope you guys like this video. If you do, smash that like button and tap that notification bell so you do not miss a single video. But without any further ado, let's get started. So we've got, if you guys want to do this for yourself, go to the draftnetwork.com and go to their mock draft machine thing. Today I'm going to be only doing my first round of my draft. So let's get started. First up, we have the Lions, and it's a debate between Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeaux. I would go Aiden Hutchinson here because he's on a better team. Oregon's defense wasn't that good. Look, Kayvon Thibodeaux, don't get me wrong, is really good. But if you see the way Aiden Hutchinson plays, he is fire, bro. So good. He is bigger. He is athletic and really big. He could be a tackle, an offensive tackle too. He could be an offensive tackle, definitely. But he's an edge rusher. And he's really talented. He has a lot of potential on the Lions. And the Lions could get two stud players in Devin Lloyd and him. So I think they draft Aiden Hutchinson. He's just overall really good. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, and for them, it's kind of, I don't know one. Ike McCuno could definitely be one. It could be Kayvon Thibodeaux. It could be anybody, basically. But I think it's an easy option here. It's Kayvon Thibodeaux, Aiden Hutchinson, I think, the first two picks of this draft. Because they're both really talented, both edge rushers. Both came out of pretty good colleges. And Kayvon Thibodeaux is just a stud. Pressured quarterbacks on 22% of dropbacks, most by far, as I said in the first draft. And it's just a good fit for Jacksonville. It's him and Josh Allen on the Jaguars is going to be a really good fit for them. And they have a pretty good, and that will make their defense much better. Much, much better. The thing you need most is your linebacking core and your secondary. All right, next up we have the Houston Texans. And I don't really know what they should do here with that pick. Or should they trade it maybe? A potential trade. But I have them going George Karlaftis here. A little bit of a surprising one, but this guy is talented. Purdue's defense led them to get wins over ranked teams. It was George Karlaftis that got them the win over Michigan State 40-29. That was a really good game to watch. George Karlaftis is the best player on that was the best player on that Purdue team. Pass rushing. Everything. He is very good. Athletic, agile, very good. I don't think I would pass on him if I were the Texans. Because if somebody else gets him, it's going to be trouble. So, the Houston Texans should take him. And then potentially a quarterback in the second round. Potentially a guy like Carson Strong. Or Desmond Ridder. Maybe Malik Willis if he falls into the second round. Or a guy like Sam Howell. Alright, next up is the Jets, and I think this is sort of a no-brainer. You take Derek Stingley here out of LSU, Derek Stingley Jr. here out of LSU. their defense was good in some games this season. They held Alabama to 20 points, even though they lost because of their offense. And Derek Stingley was the core of that defense. He made that LSU team pretty good, not as bad as they were predicted to be. Derek Stingley is going to make the Jets better. You already have Brandon Eccles and Bryce Hall there. Now if you add... Oh, shoot. What do I do here? Dang it. I just picked Ike McClellan. Shoot. What do I do now? Hold up 1 second. I restart the draft. Hold up 1 second, guys. So what did I have? I had Aiden Hutchinson. Hold up 1 second. Kayvon Thibodeau. George Karlaftis and Derek Stingley. There we go, guys. Sorry about that. I tapped on the keyboard. But yeah, that secondary was pretty good of LSU last year. He made that team pretty good. He made that team not that bad. All right, next up we have the Giants. And I don't really think they say they need that said they needed a quarterback. I don't think so. I don't really think they need a quarterback. Yeah, they have Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, I think if he had a better offensive line and more weapons, his team would be better. So, with that being said, I think they get an offensive lineman. Well, no, a pass rusher and. With that being said, I think they get a pass rusher here, like Jordan Davis here. Look, if the Giants' defense has to be better, their offense is pretty good. I think they go after a receiver in the second round, or next pick maybe. I think they go after a receiver in the first or second round and try to potentially get a stud receiver like Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Treylon Burks, and then that will be help with Daniel Jones. They already went out and got Kenny Galladay, which was a pretty good add-in for agency. Of course, he's been hurt all year. They hope he's better. I'm really hoping to see if the Giants draft a receiver or not. But I'm really excited for this guy, Jordan Davis, out of college, Georgia. He's really good. He was the best player on that Georgia defense. There was a lot of good players on that Georgia defense. You had Nakobe Dean, a lot of guys. But I think he was the best of them, best of the best there. Jordan Davis, out of Georgia, he is a beast on the interior. Just gets through your blockers. So he's humongous. He beats all the offensive linemen on the interior. He's a senior, 3-star ranking. But I'm gonna put him up. He is gonna be great for this Giants team. I hope to see him do something there and help that Giants defense out. Next up, we have the Giants again, and maybe they go after a quarterback here. No, not a quarterback. I just said not to get it. Maybe they go after an offensive lineman here, or maybe like a defensive player, like another defensive player like Andrew Booth, or potentially a quarterback maybe. But I think they go receiver here. I think they get Garrett Wilson here at the number 6 pick. I think he is very good, very athletic, agile. He's a very good route runner. I've seen him run routes, and he's very speedy. I do think they might take Jameson Williams instead of him. Jameson Williams, I think, is a little better, but at deep threat. Jameson Williams is a deep threat. What the Giants need right now is like a slot receiver or something. They already have pretty good deep receivers like Sterling Shepard and that stuff. The Giants need a slot receiver right now, and that could be Garrett Wilson filling in that slot spot, and could be like their number 3 wide receiver, number 4 wide receiver potentially, and he could go up to be that number 2 wide receiver, and they could very much rely on him a lot. All right, next up we have the Jets. And I think they take Evan Neal here, an offensive lineman out of Alabama. He slipped in the ranking because of an injury. And he's a junior, 5-star rank, very good, the best Alabama offensive lineman by far. I think he helped that team get that number 1 seed. Great protection on Bryce Young. And this guy is humongous, agile, very powerful. He is very good. He makes sure to block everyone, takes off of his assignment, and if there's help needed, he helps block, and he can block 2 people at one time. Isn't it crazy, guys? He is so good. All right, next up we have the Carolina Panthers. And it's been a roller coaster ride for the Panthers this year. They've gone up and down, and now they're making a little bit of a slump with Cam Newton now. That's why I think they need a new change at quarterback, and that's why I think they take Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh here. He is very good. The fake slide, a lot of people were arguing with that. I'm arguing with that about that. I don't think they should have. He shouldn't have done that. Bad play by the refs. I think the refs should have called a penalty there. But a strong arm quarterback, he can whip the ball, and he is very athletic. He can escape the pocket. He could be a bigger Lamar Jackson, just not as athletic as Lamar Jackson. He can throw the ball very well and scramble very well. He could be the next Lamar Jackson, like I just said. He could be the next Lamar Jackson, but bigger. He is actually pretty hard to take down. Pretty big. He is, let me check right here, a senior. And he could be like a Dan Marino. Of course, Dan Marino's out of Pittsburgh University. So Kenny Pickett had a successful year this year. Very good year for Kenny Pickett. Was a finalist for the Heisman. Bryce Young, I believe, just beat him out. But Kenny Pickett is going to be a handful to deal with in the NFL. Next up, we have the Falcons, and I think this is an easy pick here. We go Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame. He's dealing with an injury since October, I believe, 21st or to the 24th, something like that. He's a junior, hasn't played since, and isn't playing in Notre Dame's bowl game. He declared for the draft. Declared for the draft and is going to be in this year's draft. I'm really excited about this guy, and I'm kind of rooting for him to go to the Falcons. He's going to be very good. He was the heart of that Notre Dame defense right there. And he led them to almost a CFP run, but they did not make the college football playoff selection. Me, personally, I do not like Notre Dame. But I like this kid out of Notre Dame, Kyle Hamilton. I think he will be really good. Next up, we have the Eagles. And I think they really need an edge rusher here, so I think they take David Ojabo out of Michigan. He has been very good this year. He's only in his second year, sophomore. He is going to bring excitement to that Eagles roster. I believe he's going to get a lot of sacks in his rookie year. Eagles have back-to-back picks in this draft. What I really think why I made the Eagles choose David Ojabo because, look, the Eagles' defense is kind of old. Fletcher Cox, Jason Graham, or somebody, I don't know. They have pretty good defense, but I don't know. It's kind of old, but they could use like a young player like Ojabo to fuel their defense with Fletcher Cox. So he could really help that team. Next up, we have the Eagles again. And I really think they take a cornerback, Andrew Booth Jr., out of Clemson. He's a junior. I believe he could be a great pair with Darius Slay. And he could add to that defense with David Ojabo. Like I said, they could use two young players, that defense. Darius Slay is young still, pretty young. He's in his prime. And him and Andrew Booth could be a nasty cornerback duo in this league. So, that's my opinion. Next up, we have the Vikings. And I think they take DeMarvin Leal here. I don't know anything about this guy. He's a junior at Texas A&M. That is all I know. He's a 5-star prospect, I guess. And he is huge, humongous. I know that. I've seen him play. I watched a little bit of the game against Texas A&M and Alabama when Alabama lost. He has raw power there, raw athleticism, and he is very good. I've seen him on the interior. He can throw you down. So watch out, NFL scouts. You want to scout this guy to your team. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints and potentially another quarterback here. I'm going to make them go with Matt Corral, the 13th overall pick here. Matt Corral is pretty athletic. He's a junior, very good. I've seen him. I think him and Pickett are the best quarterbacks in that draft class. I don't know about, here's one thing. I don't know about Malik Willis yet. I'm not sure about him. I mean, he is pretty good. He has athletic, but Malik Willis, he throws it into coverage a lot. Spends too much time decision-making in the pocket. He could be like Zach Wilson this season. He throws it into coverage a lot, as I've watched a lot of film on him. I'm just debating who is the better choice, Malik Willis and Carson Strong. He's not that accurate. He's got a heck of an arm, though, Malik Willis. But I don't know. But Matt Corral, I think Carson Strong is accurate, has a good arm, but not as much as him. And I think he's the better player. He has raw talent there. But we're talking about Matt Corral. So Matt Corral, Ole Miss, he is athletic, pretty good. He doesn't scramble often. He's not like a scrambler like Malik Willis. But I would say he can scramble if he needs to. He has a very strong arm. Good. He's got a lot of talent in there. And I think the Saints would be a good fit for him. They're a young team with Marquez Callaway, Michael Thomas, potentially Michael Thomas coming back. And it could be a great fit for Matt Corral there. Jameis Winston's leaving. You're not going to depend on Taysom Hill for the rest of, the next 6 years. You're not going to depend on Taysom Hill. This is the guy you can depend on. Matt Corral was the number one quarterback coming in, and then Kenny Pickett, though, came in. But I think Matt Corral is a better than Pickett here. Next up, we have the Raiders, and I'm not sure who they take here. Do they trade it? Maybe. But I think they take Kenyon Green. Don't know anything about this guy. All I do know is that he went to college with DeMarvin Leal. Junior, 5-star rank. Henry Green played guard at Green. Wow. So his mom and his dad both played sports, I guess. Don't know anything about this guy. He went to Texas A&M. I know a little bit about him. I've watched him before, and I've seen people talking about him. He is pretty good. And I think this is a good fit for the Raiders. The Raiders' offensive line is broken down. Richie Incognito. I don't know. I think a Kenyon Green would be a good fit for the Raiders. I think they have all the pieces there, except maybe another wide receiver to take place in Henry Ruggs, maybe. Who knows? But that's a perfect pick. Kenyon Green is a good fit for them. Next up is the Steelers, and I'm having them go with Sam Howell here out of North Carolina. Very good. He is he's pretty good. He's like Matt Corral. He can scramble when he needs to. He does it sometimes, but he does it a little more than Matt Corral. I think he's not as good as Matt Corral, though. Sam Howell's accurate and talented. Not as talented as Matt Corral and Kenny Pickett, those guys, though. He's like third or fourth on the list here, but Sam Howell's good enough to be the Steelers quarterback for a period of time, and I think he can. He could deliver there. He can deliver. Yeah, he's going to be an average quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar in the NFL, but he's going to be average probably. I'll say he's going to turn out to be an average quarterback. Good enough. He's going to be a guy like, who's an average quarterback in the NFL? A guy like Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins. One of those guys. Or, you know what I'm talking about. Like Jalen Hurts or Baker Mayfield. He's average. Average quarterbacks. Teddy Bridgewater, average. All right, next up, we've got the Denver Broncos, and what they need is a quarterback here. So that's why I have them taking Desmond Ridder with the 16th overall pick. Look, Desmond Ridder. He is big, huge, tall, and he's accomplished quarterback. He can, he's big. He's smaller than Kenny Pickett, though. He can scramble. He scrambles not often, a little less than Matt Corral and Sam Howell, but he's got an arm, though. He's got talent. Led his team to the college football playoff. There's a lot of talent there, and I think the Broncos are a perfect fit for him. They've got receivers, Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy there. And they have a tight end in Noah Fant. Desmond Ridder shares the ball around, so for fantasy it would be good. So Desmond Ridder is the perfect fit there. I think the Broncos should take him over Malik Willis. And out of Cincinnati. Next up, we have the Bengals. Now, I think the Bengals have figured out I think the Bengals have the puzzle pieces put together here. I think they're just missing one more thing, and that's the defensive player here. Another defensive player, like a pass rusher. I know they have Trey Hendrickson and all those guys. They used to have Geno Atkins. I think they're missing like a guy like Devin Lloyd. So that's why I project them to pick Devin Lloyd here. Devin Lloyd is athletic. He can do it all. He's out of Utah. Very good 3-star rank. Senior, 6'3", 235 pounds. And he is very good. He's athletic. He is speedy. He can drop back into coverage and pass rush for you. He's the underrated guy. He's the underrated guy this year that's going to be a sneaky pick. Devin Lloyd's going to be a sneaky pick and turn out to be awesome here. So you watch out for Devin Lloyd. All right, next up we got the Browns here, the Brownies. I think they need like another wide receiver. They've got what's his face, Jarvis Landry, who's kind of in getting in his older years. He's at the peak But next, I think they take another receiver here, and that's Treylon Burks. Perfect fit for them. He's a deep threat, junior, speedy. He's a former 4-star recruit, and could definitely be a trouble in the NFL. I think he's in his first year in the NFL, he's gonna enter being like the third man up at receiver position. He could end up being second. Who knows? Rashard Higgins is there, but all that. I think Treylon Burks is the perfect fit for the Browns. I don't think Jameson Williams wasn't. I don't think he as. Look, Jameson Williams is a little better than Treylon Burks, but I think Treylon Burks fits better with the Browns. Look, the Browns don't have a slot guy right now. Rashard Higgins, you're not going to depend on for a slot. He's like deep threat guy. Jarvis Landry, he's not really a slot. Not really a deep threat either. He's like that mid guy. So Treylon Burks could be a slot and deep threat for them, which would be great for the Browns. That's what they kind of need right now. With the departure of OBJ, that would be a perfect fit for the Browns. All right, next up, the Washington football team. I don't know what they pick here. I think it's too early. I don't think they take Malik Willis. Look, I think they could stick with Taylor Heineke. He is pretty good, honestly. And I would like to see him get his chance as a starter in the NFL. He's getting a little bit of a chance, but I don't know if he's going to stay there for long. That's why I have them taking Jaquan Brisker. I don't really know about Jaquan Brisker. He's a senior, Big Ten, 4-star ranking. He is considered a strong bet for... Okay. He could definitely be a good slot safety there, slot cornerback. I don't think they would put him at safety, but I think they would put him at a slot cornerback there. He could be a great slot cornerback for the football team. So, with that being said, I think they take Jaquan Brisker. All right, next up we have the Buffalo Bills. And right here, their offensive line is old, so that's why I have them taking Tyler Linderbaum. Look, they need an inside offensive lineman. John Feliciano's old, but he's still pretty good. He's a center, I guess. Inside offensive lineman. They could play him probably anywhere, like guard and left guard, right guard, and probably sometimes center. So Tyler Linderbaum could be an inside offensive lineman for them. Like he could play 3 positions. It could be guard, left guard, right guard, or center, which would be great for them. A multi-position player would be great for the Bills right now, and he's very young. The Bills don't have much young offensive linemen, so that's why I think it would be the perfect fit. Next up, we have the Eagles, and I feel like the Eagles right now have a pretty good team. They're built great, but they're missing one thing, a running back here, and I think they take a running back here in the first round, and that's why I have them taking Kenneth. No, I don't think they should. No, they shouldn't take Brandon Walker. They actually kind of need that. They kind of need a safety here, so I'd take Daxton Hill. That would make their secondary a lot better. If you get Andrew Booth Jr. and Daxton Hill in that secondary, that would be great for the Eagles. So much talent there. And you could develop them into superstar players. Daxton Hill, pretty good, 5-star ranking. Junior, 6 feet, could get some picks there, 192 pounds. He could be pretty good. Honestly, I think the Eagles will get some talent there in those two secondary players, Andrew Booth Jr. and Daxton Hill. All right, next up, I have the Dolphins, and the Dolphins' offensive line is just a mess. So that's why I have them taking Ikem Ekwonu. It's kind of late for him to get picked, but I think this is a perfect fit. Out of NC State, he has so much raw talent there. He came out as a true freshman in 2019 and has developed since to be one of the best offensive linemen in college football. It's a perfect fit for the Dolphins. The Dolphins could pair him and Robert Hunt together. That would be great. I think Robert Hunt has a lot of talent there. All right, next up is the Chargers. And look, the Chargers need a pass rusher to pair with Joey Bosa. But they need a few more things, too. They need a secondary, really. Since Chris Harris left to go to the Broncos, their defense is not good. Their secondary falling apart. Derwin James hasn't been as good. And that's why I think they take Roger McCreary out of Auburn. Don't know much about this guy, although I do know he's athletic. Senior out of SEC, 190 pounds, 6 feet tall. Look, he has athleticism and talent. That's all I know. And I think he would deliver for the Chargers, help that secondary out a lot. All right, next up, the Lions are up. And now I think they take Ahmad Garner. I don't know how to say his name. He's a junior out of Cincinnati. His team's in the CFP, in the college football playoff. And he's pretty good, I think. I think he's could be a solid cornerback for the Lions in the NFL. Look, that cornerback system, I don't know what happened in there. They had so many cornerbacks in the past couple of years, so I don't know what's happening. So, Ahmad Gardner and Jeff Okudah, two young cornerbacks, could be a great pair there in Detroit. So, that's why I think the Lions should take Ahmad Gardner. All right, next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens. And I think they should pick a guy like Nakobe Dean here out of Georgia. Look, he would be a great pick for Baltimore. Out of Georgia, 5-star rank, a junior, athletic, and Baltimore's linebacking corps is pretty old. So if you get a fresh start with Nakobe Dean there, you're going to have a good defense. And Nakobe Dean is athletic, so much raw talent there, and could be a potentially superstar linebacker in the NFL. Next up, we have the Cowboys, and what they need here is a guy like Trayvon Walker out of Georgia. Don't know much about this guy. He's a junior, 5-star rank. Him and Jordan Davis are the best players on that Georgia defense, I think. And Nakobe Dean there. So, with that being said, I think he gets picked by the Dallas Cowboys. Him and Micah Parsons, two edge rushers, could be pretty good. Look, their defense is loaded, and it hasn't delivered much this season. I mean, their defense is stacked with talent there. I just don't think the players there, I don't know what's happening. It's collapsing. Of course, the Cowboys defense had a great game against Washington. You came close in the fourth quarter. The defense collapsed. But him and Trayvon Walker would definitely help. Next up, it's the Chiefs. And I don't know why it's saying they need a receiver. They've got so many receivers. I can't think of all of them. They got Josh Gordon, Mecole Hardman, Byron Pringle, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Ricky Seals-Jones. Of course, they're not all wide receivers, but I consider them receivers. So, with that being said, I think they take a cornerback here to pair with Mike Hughes. Well, no, they have L'Jarius Sneed. I think they take an offensive tackle here to help that Chiefs offensive line. They just traded, what's his face? Laurent Duvernay Tardif to the New York Jets. Let's go. But Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa. Don't know much about him. Small school. All-American honors from preseason. Okay. Starting left tackle. Pretty good, I believe. And I don't know. Next up, we have the Cardinals. I don't know who they take here. They kind of need a cornerback to put in the place of Patrick Peterson for a fresh start. And I think Kaiir Elam or something would be very good. He was at the top of the rankings in this before, and then he just slipped. And I think he is a sneaky pick here. And the Cardinals could get a really good cornerback in replacement of Patrick Peterson. So he could be average. He could deliver or not deliver. We don't know. I don't know. It's been an up and down year for Florida's defense, so I don't know. We'll see. All right, next up, it's the Tennessee Titans. And I think all the talent is there. They just need, I think, they have Julio Jones and A.J. Brown, but I don't know who that number 3 receiver is. So I think, and they don't really have a slot guy to go to, so I think Jahan Dotson would be an awesome choice for them there. Jahan Dotson going out of Penn State. He's a slot receiver. He's very fast and could be he could be an average, but he could be a really good slot receiver for Tennessee. They already have a deep threat there in Chester Rogers. All they need is a slot receiver, and that's Jahan Dotson. All right, next up we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think they have it all, and I think Darian Kinyard would finish the job off for them. He would be a very good senior out of Kentucky. Kentucky was a surprise team this year, and he is huge and could potentially be very good. Next up, we have the New England Patriots, and maybe they could get another cornerback to pair with J.C. Jackson, maybe, and I think Trent McDuffie is there from Washington, and he's out of Washington. He is small, 5'11", 4-star ranking, and could be he could be solid. He could deliver, not deliver, but I think he'll be a great player in the NFL. So watch out, scouts. And then last but not least, it is the Green Bay Packers, and I think they take Chris Olave here. A great pick. Oh, okay. A great pick out of Ohio State. I left him for the Packers. It could have been. It was a debate between Chris Olave and Jameson Williams. He's a senior, and the past couple of years he's been very good and could potentially be a superstar receiver in the NFL. Look, Devontae Adams, free agent. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, free agent. But I think they let Marquez Valdes-Scantling go. Most likely, I believe Marquez Valdes-Scantling might be a free agent. Most likely, Devontae Adams will come back, and Chris Olave would be that number 2 guy right there. So, with that being said, the mock draft is finished. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please drop a like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you do not miss a single video. And we'll see you next time on Harry & Co. Productions.